Why do I believe there's going to be a melt up in Bitcoin's price? The reason I believe a parabolic rally is within the next 2 months is because of what's going on with Russia invading Ukraine. If you look at your energy costs with crude oil, wheat, corn, nickel, and every other export that's even now dipping into phosphates, which affects agronomics, the more detrimental the effect will be. Now, there's certain countries where their demographics are very strong and they may have short-term volatility in energy prices or inflation like we're seeing inside the United States. But what I want you to see is what happened to the ruble and Bitcoin volume as the ruble value decreased from all the sanctions being put on Russia by the United States. The volume exceeded by 240%. And this is what leads into that melt up. You see, there's a lot of arguments about Bitcoin being a store of value. And since May, I have debunked those arguments and focused on Bitcoin being a hedge against oppression. Ultimately, the end goal being a store of value, but until we reach a $10 trillion market cap, have those regulations, have those spot ETFs, and all those financial tools that are able to sustain Bitcoin as a store of value. Right now, it is a hedge against oppression. What do I mean by that? You have 3 major monetary powers that are in the world. Smallest one being cryptocurrencies with Bitcoin, with countries such as El Salvador now using Bitcoin as a legal tender, as well as a lot of your second world, first world countries pushing towards gold-backed reserves as they started selling off T-bonds and want to refrain from the United States dollar. And obviously, you have fiat-based currencies that are all backed by the United States dollar. So let's call those factions. With those 3 different factions, countries are already going to want to come off the US dollar as they're worried about having that control and that power from the United States in sanctions just like Russia. So countries like Russia are going to want to leave the United States dollar and go to gold-backed reserves. This is why they've been accumulating gold for the past couple of years. So first world countries are backed by your fiat. Second world countries are backed by your gold. What are third world countries backed by? Well, as these political powers compete and you see major supply shocks being taken place across the global economy from famine because of wheat distributions, from energy and crude oil sanctions, as well as nickel, stainless steel, and even phosphate with fertilizer and agricultural issues now, these third world countries' economies are going to react. And just like the ruble, you're going to see a lot of different countries have their currencies actually depreciate in value. And with all these third world countries and even first world countries that are dealing with mad inflation like the United States, those investors are going to panic and try to move their funds into something that is a store of value. The real phrase, I believe, should be a hedge against oppression, meaning that they are solely reliant on another country's currency or supply chains. If that were to collapse, they have nowhere to store their value in money. Gold's really hard to access. U.S. debt is looking to exceed $40 trillion and inflation is at all-time highs. Sorry, 40-year highs. That leaves third world countries with one option, and that's Bitcoin. Now, why do I believe this will happen within 2 months? Well, I'm out of time, so either like and comment for another video or be sure to actually check out this hour-long seminar. Peter Zion has a fascinating analysis of what's happening on a global scale from demographics, agronomics, and just overall a macro scale. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, not a geopolitical economist. This is all my own opinion. So as always, do your own research, and I'll see you in the next video.